All right, everybody, this is Brian and Micah here, class number 2 of our beginner jiu-jitsu curriculum. Got class number 1 uploaded for any of the students that want to check that out, or anybody that subscribes to the channel wants to follow along. So these are basic techniques we teach everybody. We're going to run this just like a class. It's just like almost like a private class for Micah. It's how it's conned him into doing this, right? So we're going to do it just like a class, a warm-up, techniques. Some of this stuff he's seen, some he hasn't. He started after we added, or before rather, we added the white belt curriculum in class. So we just kind of, our gym is the size where we can have an all ranks class and we can have a beginner class. So these are the fundamentals every practitioner should know, but because of the format of the industry, we do an all ranks class. A lot of gyms run that way. It takes a little longer to get those fundamentals. You're busy teaching spider guard and X guard and cool stuff that people want for tournaments or just coming up in the community. So we'll get started with the warm up. We're doing break falls. Those are also called in judo ukemi, right? Or ukemi, either one, however you want to say it. Ukemi. Okay, it just means we're break falling. We're slapping the mat. There's a lot of different ways to do that. Today we're going to review forward rolls, side falls, and back falls. And every time we do a break fall, we want to get up in base. And we'll do a little bit of a review of some things we talked about from getting up in base last class, as well as add on to that, okay? So we'll come down here. I'll go first. You kind of watch what we're going to do. We want to do a forward roll with a slap. We want to try and roll in a straight line, okay? I'm going to go from a standing position. You can squat down on this. You can do it from your knees. We can even do it like with a walk or a run, okay? So we're just going to be standing. I am going to squat down a little bit. I'm going to think about making a wheel with my arms and rolling over my forearms here on the mat. And I'm going to slap here, right? Then I sit up. Now, I don't want to be on my tailbone. I want to be out on the hip, okay? Now see where my hand's at? My foot's going to go back right here next to my hand. And I stand up. It's really important that we do not look down while you're standing up. Eyes forward. You look down, great way to take a shin to the face, lose some of your teeth, okay? So forward roll, that's a review. We did that in last class, 2 times down on that one, 2 times back. Nice. Time that slap. Again, one more. Good, coming back. Good, keep the chin tucked. And one more. Nice, okay. So good on your forward rolls. Now we're gonna do a walking side fall, okay? This one is just like being foot swept, okay? That's how it was taught to me. Imagine somebody with their foot on the outside of your foot, right? And they're sweeping it across, or you are foot sweeping someone. The beginner way on this is to keep your foot on the mat, okay? So look, slide, and it's crossing my legs, so I'm losing balance, and I fall, okay, here, and retract. So if we're going down the mat like this, it's gonna be up in base, and then the other side. So keep that foot connected. You may not have seen this one before, right? But we used to offer a judo class here as well as jiu-jitsu, and we'd do this one. This is a big part of the program. Don't do the walking side fall as much just in the BJJ class, okay? But it's definitely side falls, a lot of throws and takedowns. If you're training in high volume, you want to know that side fall, okay? So walking side fall, 2 times going down. Good. You can take your foot up off the mat. It's like the beginner way. If I keep my foot on the mat, look. It never, so you kind of lifted your foot up, and that's a little more intermediate or whatever, but both are correct. Yes. That foot on the mat is a little slow motion way to do it from when you're first learning it. Okay, go again. Good. And one more. Nice. Okay. Now, last one, real basic back falls and getting up in base. And we'll do this one going backwards, okay? So on the back fall here, chin tuck, right? Here, right? Out on my hip, getting up in base. Right? Now, when I do this, right, I don't want to just squat down, hips back, chin tuck, breathe in and out, right? And then, look, bring your elbow to your hip. It's a little easier than sitting up on your elbow like this, okay? And it's got give you more longevity on the mats, right? It's not something I was taught when I was coming up, but sucking that elbow into your hip, when you go to stand up, you lose nothing and you gain less wear and tear on your body, okay? So just turn around backwards on this one, back fall, and then get up in base. Good, nice. Now I'm just gonna push and make sure, good. This is part of our get up in base test. Good, get up in base. Nice, square back up, back fall. Good. Get up in a strong base, nice, stand up. Here, yes, good, one more. Good. Nice. Nice. You stay protected. When we get up, we want our hands here. Okay? So next, that's good on the break falls. If you're good, we're gonna do some takedowns later, and we do takedowns about every class. I mean, at least 75% plus of the classes. Okay? And in the beginner class, there's takedown every class. Okay, so we'll do a little bit of takedowns. If you're gonna train takedowns, you know, put something in the warm up that is gonna help you prepare for the takedown. All right, taking takedowns, you take falls, you know, fall on the mat, you wanna take a bunch of falls, start learning how to slap the mat. That's the benefit of break falls. Let's do a review on our get up and base. You stay here, right? I'm here. Again, I don't wanna look down. Right? Sometimes we're here. What I'm doing here is I'm rotating my palm out. My shoulder is up, protecting my face, and I have just a little bend in my elbow. It's a frame. Okay? Now, if just like you are, if you kind of take a step to get in on me, boom, right there. I'm using a push kick on his knee, right? And then I can retract that leg to get up in base. Right? And when I get up in base, look, I open up. Here, I'm finding that base of the staggered stance that we want, right? We want to be able to maintain balance. And if I'm just here, he grabs me and starts pulling my gi and pushing the steering, I'm going to be off balance. Here, I have more balance. Dropping down into your base with your knees bent, your hands are up, you can protect, you can preserve. All right, so finding and maintaining base is a big part of what we're doing. So what I want you to do, get down in your seated base. Good, okay, so it's going to be your bottom leg that is going to, right, it's going to kick. So if I go to step in to push you, put that right there. Look. Okay, and you're not going to stay there, but from here, what he's going to do is he's going to retract, get up into base. Good, now there, now step out with that back leg. Good, knees are bent, hands are up. Good. If I push back, he's just putting weight into the balls of his feet, okay? So, very good. Let's see that again. Let's move forward just a little bit on camera. Here, okay? You're in the seated base. I'm gonna go to step in on you. Here, yes, okay? Push me back as you get up. Whoop. Now I'm coming in, good base. Hands are up here a little bit more. Boom, that way, look, your hands are up. I come here. You can raise elbows to protect. You can raise both elbows if I'm pushing your shoulders. So hands here can deflect strikes as well. So our hands in this position can deflect against strikes to the face, body, and grabs, clinches, or gi grips. Somebody's grabbing, trying to do off balancing on you, okay? Let's do one more of those push kicks. Okay, so we're using this, I'm walking in on him, all right? So here, it's there, pushes me back, good, coming in here, nice, very good, okay? So that is our warm-up portion, just fundamentals of, guys, every time I'm real big, right? He helps me in some of the kids' classes, right? If we do the warm-ups and we're doing getting up off the mat, I'm adamant about, hey, get up off the mat the right way. There's a right way and wrong way to do it. And the wrong way to do it is self-defense. If you're in it, like I've had guys get saved by that in an MMA fight because they got flash knocked out, they fell down, they woke up as soon as they hit the canvas, then there's somebody trying to keep them down on the mat, but they were able to execute a technical stand-up into base and keep fighting, and in one instance even came back and won the fight, okay? So that is, and this person, they've been training a couple years. It was not like they hit some big veteran with all this experience. It was a fundamental that we teach all students, kids, adults, of all ranks. We need to get up off the mat that way. And just like as we saw, it's not just getting up off the mat, it's all sorts of application. You don't want to get pushed back down. You don't want to get stuck on the floor, somebody on top of you hitting you, and you can actually create a little distance, which is one of the themes of this class, distance management, with that push kick, okay? Okay, adding on to this base conversation. So base is a part of every class we do for in one way or another, whether it's on the ground or standing. We're working standing base a lot with this particular group of students, okay? So first just get in a neutral stance, how we would normally stand, okay? Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a step back, but just going straight back is not enough. We need to be out just a little bit. Our knees need to be bent, our hands need to be up, all right? We still have a nice vision in between our hands here, all right? And our elbows are out just a little bit. This is gonna allow us to defend against strikes, any form of attack. Now, what we're gonna do, move forward here a little bit, Micah. So I put your front foot about right there. Yes, good. Getting a good base. We'll check your base here, right? Kind of taking the slack out. You want your hips facing your partner, right? And if I'm starting to pull him, he's gonna sink back and point his rear knee, okay? Not bad, right? You grab this wrist here, pull on me, let go. When he lets go, I just come up, I don't fall back. So there's a nice middle ground here with where we want to have our balance. We don't want to grab and get our arm just extended. If our arm comes out, you get pulled off balance. So you got to be able to maintain here, okay? Also, what about maintaining distance? We're going to test with grabs here in a sec. Get in that base, put this hand out, 2 hand distances apart, okay? When I step forward, maintaining your base, you step back. With this distance, we can avoid kicks. I can't reach him with kicks. Even on like the Thai style teep or front kick, if I push my hip forward, I get a little extra distance. My rear leg is even longer in that scenario. Can't reach him. So he's safe if he maintains 2 hand distances apart. Check that one more time. Right? Now, take a step back as I come forward. Good. Don't slide the back foot too far. Recheck your base. There you go. Okay? Check your distance. Good, okay? Now, turn around. We need to be able to walk forward and backward in base, but here, we're just practicing this for a defensive purpose. Back up just a little bit more. Hands out, 2 hand distances apart. All right, you step when I step. Stay right there. Knees are bent. Drop that base. Yes. Good. Now, if somebody's pushing you, like I'm pulling him and steering him, right? Pushing and pulling his hands, somebody just pushes you. The idea is bring your base and your weight is gonna redistribute a little bit to the front. Not a lot. I don't wanna lean forward like this, right? So just a little bit. If I come in pushing his shoulders, good, good, all right? Oh, he's figuring it out. Good, all right, turn around here. Base, let's check it. Good, 2 hand distances. Step back, check distance, check base. Good, okay, guys, when somebody grabs your gi like that, this is the basics of judo too. There's off balancing, kazushi, right? Everybody in jiu-jitsu talks about this also. And, you know, that's grabbing him and lifting him up, pushing and pulling him, pulling him in, pushing him away. So what he's learning right off the bat, he's a new student, is how to preserve his base, the way he's standing, his stance, and how to stay on balance, right? If you want weight to be redistributed, that needs to be something you decide, not something your partner decides for you. So grabbing the wrist, real basic one. If you look back at the first class, we did the belt drill, right? Same idea, same exact idea. But guys, you gotta be able to defend against push, pull, any of that, okay? So these are some really cool ideas on base. Now speaking of belt drills, we got another one. Okay, so get in your base. Now, and you know, Micah here, he does some striking, right? We just got back from a legendary Bill Superfoot Wallace camp, and he got like more striking than ever. Okay, so he knows a little bit. But I bet before he ever did any of that, he had seen this idea that in boxing, they call it the cover-up. Right there, okay? For basic self-defense, that's great. What I want you to do, Micah, here in a second, we're gonna close distance. Give me that too. We're gonna close distance, and when we close distance, I want you to cover up, okay? So, there's different times when you can clinch someone, okay? And of those times, someone is about to hit you, which is not the one we're gonna work on today, right? Or they missed, right? When I do the about to hit you, I'll do like that, right? When they just missed, oh, I missed, right? So think about after a strike, somebody threw a big overhand and they missed, or you know, we're doing for all of our students here at the gym and the community a club defense seminar, right? And that's the theme of the seminar. It's like, oh, I'm about to hit you, or I hit you and I missed. Somebody swung a baseball bat at you and they missed, right? So this is simulating that, right? Now, move forward just a little bit more, okay. Now, this is going side to side. Let's check our distance here. 2 hands, good. Okay, this is going side to side. One of these times when I miss, I don't want you to just, don't worry so much about the clinch. We'll refine that in a minute. All I want you to do is close distance, and here's how you're gonna do it. Right there, and once as soon as you're here, you grab. Get chest to chest, connect with your head. Look, I got double leg here, I got body lock. You got a lot of options if you can just grab it, okay? And think about this. See, I didn't want this to happen. I'm missing a big overhand, or I've launched offense, and he's countered it. So in theory, I may be off balance, right? So, on you, whenever you're ready. Not bad, good. Good. Let's check our distance. Good. Now let me show you, put your hand back up. Watch this. Right? Yeah. It's a subtlety. All I did was move my fingers over the tops of his fingers to his knuckle line, and then I could kick him. Okay, so I tell people this is like something you have to develop, depth perception. Not everybody has it. If you ever played sports, you probably understand that not everybody had it. Okay, so here. Good. Okay, now let's bring all this together. I want you to take steps back. I'm going to move in on you while I'm swinging this, right? And what I want you to do is take steps back, and when you're ready, after I miss, close the distance, okay? Now, we'll move, we'll get that way we don't run out of the camera. Okay, so here, I'm gonna start moving forward. Oh, good job. See, look, you pinned, like here, you get your arm pinned there or across. I was about to swing the belt, and I didn't quite get it going across. So it's the same idea. Let's do that one more time. I might change my walking pattern on it. Oh, I got you. He's listening to what I was saying. What did he do? Right? So here's why I started doing this. I don't want you to walk like that. I want you to do exactly what you were doing. You were doing the right thing. But I changed the walk on you. You may not even have noticed, but before I was stepping and sliding with you. Untrained person, probably not gonna do this footwork we're working on, right? So even though it's real basic, a lot of, self-defense situations, people aren't, all right, let me get my stance, right? So here. Good, okay? One thing you gotta be careful with on this is not reaching, okay? It's super easy to just reach out and try and grab. And you wanna be careful about, here, if I start coming in and I'm reaching, I may take a shot. I may take a punch, okay? So when you close distance, cover, right? There is a situation in which we might reach, but we're gonna be behind our shoulders, right? And we don't want to do that from too far out. That's when we run a risk, okay? So, now, if this was a judo class, I would be showing all gi grips, and you pull them here, and you throw them this way with the gi grip. This class is not that. There's some crossover, the breakfalls and things. Like, they're sister or cousin arts, however you want to just, think about them. They're related arts. Jiu-jitsu is a Japanese word, right? Jiu-jitsu in Brazil, in our lifetime, is the prominent thing that we study and do, right? But all of that flows out of Japan. So there's going to be some crossover. A lot of these techniques are inspired by Japanese Jiu-Jitsu or Judo. That's where they come from and why the names on some of them. We're just going to call it a front body lock takedown. Some people call it the body fold takedown. And I differentiate front body lock because you can body lock people from the side. Here, okay? You can body lock someone from the back, which we'll see in this class. And you can body lock them from the front. Okay, so each body lock has defenses against being picked up, against being taken down, like they have offenses, takedowns, okay? So we're gonna do the front body lock takedown, all right? So this would be, after you close distance for a clinch, this would be something you would wanna get into, okay? So we did all of our base, our warm up, and our movements, fundamentals for everybody, essential things that you should be working on and trying to perfect. Like, he got a little better at his base today, I felt it. This is something you feel. Right? I'm like, okay, yeah, you feel like you're stuck to the ground right now. I grab you and try and shake you and there's no slack, there's no movement. It's like, oh, he's heavy, right? That's what you want. Getting into the techniques now. The body lock takedown, and then we'll do the mounted Americana. So after you close distance for a clinch, okay, just face me, just chest to chest, all right? Here's where we're gonna be. Look how both my arms are under his arms. Now, in like Muay Thai and stuff, they'll grab you like this, right? But that's because they want to knee you, right? Not what we're doing here. What I want you to do is you're gonna go right down to where, right where his tailbone's at, okay? And I'm gonna pull in, okay? If it was a double leg, I would go right at the top of the hamstrings. But from here, right, I wanna put that ridge hand right on the tailbone, and I'm gonna suck it in here. And then I'm just gonna walk, pinch, and ride down to mount. This is a front body lock takedown. Again, there's side body lock. There's hooking the leg from the front or the side. We saw the leg hook takedown in our first class, okay? Leg hook takedown could be applicable here. We're just introducing the body lock takedown, okay? So this is for my front body lock. Here, find that tailbone, spine, right there, right at his belt. Grip your hands together, pull in. You saw I bent over backwards. Now, just start walking forward, here, here. Pinch your knees as you go down, okay? We'll do one more facing the camera here. Watch how I go down. I'm not just dropping down on my knees and banging them hard on the mat. Don't want to do that, okay? And I'm not going down at a super fast rate. I don't want him to pull me down. So I'm kind of letting him fall ahead of me and then following, okay? So here, balance is broken. I start walking, pinching the knees here. What you'll see people do is they'll go, as you saw in the first class, off the leg hook takedown. If somebody puts their hands on the mat like that, you can trap and roll, right? So the body lock takedown, fundamental takedown. We'll do one more facing this way, okay? Here, getting that tailbone at the end of the spine, sucking in, breaking the balance, walking forward, pinching the knees, and going down to mounted position. Okay, so that's 2 really good takedowns that we've learned in the beginner class that coincidentally go to mount. Okay, there's takedowns that you will end up having their back in a sense, like being behind them when you get to the ground. There'll be takedowns where you're in the side control position. And we'll see an array of that as we move forward in future classes, right? But here, basic body lock takedown. We'll do a little review sequence with this at the end of class and see it again, okay? So now we'll move on to the Mounted Americana. Okay guys, we're gonna go over the Mounted Americana. This is a arm and shoulder lock. Look, some people really feel it in the shoulder, have tighter shoulders. Some people feel it in the elbow, okay? The way that we teach it, a lot of times you feel it in the elbow no matter who you are, right? And I remember when I learned it this way from a great friend of mine, Jack Toffer, I was like, dang dude, why is that hurting my elbow? Like it usually hurts my shoulder, right? So this is an arm / shoulder lock, kind of depending on the body type and the anatomy and the condition of the person that you're applying it on, okay? So how do we do the Americana? What are the finishing details? I'm gonna show some ideas on the setup here, this direction and orientation, and then we'll turn sideways so you can see the lock from a side profile, okay? Now, what I want you to think about doing is leading in with your elbow, okay? We have a whole playlist on this on our YouTube channel, Mounted Americana, like over 15 videos, just talking about the nuances and variations. But with this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my elbow, just be kind of tight with your arms, about like we were when we were standing, right? And there's all sorts of things they can do with their arms, and you still do this. And that's kind of what we have on our more advanced ideas on the playlist. So here I'm coming in. It's really hard to resist that, isn't it? Yeah. Right? So what I do is I connect with my forearm. I'm coming through with my elbow, but I've got all my weight leaning on his arm, okay? Now, a problem is when you start pushing his arm to the mat like this, and just kind of relax. Here, then I can't get under his arm for the finish, right? Be heavy by bridging with this leg. I'm not gonna be able to connect my hands. That's problem number 1, okay? Now, and the other problem, what was that other thing you were about to do? Oh yeah, just straighten your arm, right? So I felt him doing it. I was like, yeah, that too, right? There's little simple things that if you just start trying to bench press it to the ground like this, okay? So I want to connect to it. I want him to bear my weight on his arm as much as I can put there. But again, it's not pushing, right? I'm coming in and connecting, all right? So I drop weight through my elbow and forearm as my elbow goes to the mat right here, okay? And I've got my hands together, all right? Now, that's just getting the lock. Now, how do we finish, okay? A lot of different ways to finish I've seen. This is a very refined submission for our school. We have a lot of people landed in competition and have had whole seminars, brought people in that were, in my view, some of the best to teach this move, and I've chased people down for private lessons. This is a fundamental. Master it in the beginning, and it'll work for you your whole time on the mats, okay? So here, lead in with the elbow, get your grip. You can grip like this. Grab your wrist and their wrist, okay? What I'm gonna be showing is motorcycle grips, okay? So that means I'm gonna go here and here. Instead of grabbing my wrist and grabbing his wrist, I make the leverage a little different by going out further than that. Here, all right, I change the leverage by going further out, making the lever longer, okay? So I'm in here. Now, a couple of things I'm gonna wanna think about doing. Right now, I don't want weight on my elbows or this knee, right? So it's about redistributing your weight, okay? So I'm gonna shift off to the side a little bit, right? Towards the camera, just raising my knees subtly. I want to look back because he has a free hand here, right? And I don't want him to reach up and scratch my face or anything like that, okay? So I lead in with the elbow, I'm looking back, I get my grips here, right? And I'm redistributing weight there, okay? Now, that's that knee flaring up. What we want to be able to do is, let's check this. Stiff arm me right there, push me off of me. Good, okay? So that straightening the arm detail, that motorcycle grip stops that, okay? Really like that application on. Sometimes I find here, people can still just punch their arms straight, okay? Here, a lot harder, all right? Now, I have some weight on my elbows. I want to take weight off of my elbows, okay? I want to be low here, all right? I don't want to hook his leg. He can just do a simple knee elbow escape if I do that, okay? Yes, okay? So what I want to do is wheel my foot out, like this. So when I flare this knee up, this foot is propped out so he cannot knee elbow, right? And that changes the angle. And it gives me the look back and it gives me the space here. So I'm not gonna get stiff armed off this way. He's not gonna be able to bridge that way. He's not gonna be able to straighten his arm right there, okay? So I lead him with the elbow here. I get the grip. I twist and change my angle subtly. I make my knee light on this side here. I'm looking back, and that looking back is again so he can't just reach up and grab my face and scratch anything, right? I'd rather not have staph infection after I get done beating your ass. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's the thing, you know, a self-defense situation, you ever have to use this for real, you may get scratched. You're probably not gonna come out unscathed, but like you can have a approach to self-defense that takes into account like, oh yeah, if I'm in mount and I'm trying these things, they might try and scratch my face. But most jiu-jitsu people I hang out with don't think about their face getting scratched. They're thinking about competition or just it's a fun hobby. But for self-defense, if we really want to use this for self-defense, that's one of the greatest little nuanced details on this move, okay? So let's just one real quick review. Connect with the elbow, get your grip, shift your weight, and he's already tapping, okay? Mounted Americana. Okay, review sequences for the end of class. We're gonna do a review sequence where we incorporate a technique from last class, the UPA escape or the bridge and roll escape. And we'll also incorporate techniques from this class, the Americana, and the closing the distance for the clinch for the bodylock takedown, okay? So Micah's gonna go the whole sequence from this class first, and then we'll do review from last class with the UPA escape, okay? So let's check our distance here. We'll move back a little bit because your takedown will take me out of frame perhaps. Check your distance. I can't kick him, okay? Now, he's gonna close distance for the clinch, right? Up, again, got hit, right? Close distance for the clinch, whenever you're ready. Let me miss. Yes, good. Front body lock. Good, he's sucking me and breaking my balance. Nice. Hands on the chest, where I like grabbing the arms. Okay, if you go hands on the mat, it can be a mistake. You can get ooped, okay? So he did a really good job not making a mistake going down. Good job, double high five. All right, so now, start going elbow to the mat, connecting your weight to my arm. Yes, connect, yes. Okay, good. Now, wheel this leg out. Hold on. It's gonna be the other knee that comes up. Yes, you feel that? Put out with your foot, that way I can't do any weird knee elbow escapes. Yeah, nice. Knee up, down a little bit more. Yes, that gives you more hip. Down, point it down just a little bit. Yes, good. Now, elbows off the mat, looking back. Ah, yes, good. Well, and you know, he said, oh, I finished it before I meant to. Every time I was tapping him earlier when we were showing just the technique, it was like, oh yeah, he's tapping already. Like, okay, sorry. You're expecting it later, but when you do it in this way, it comes early. In partiality, it's that grip. It's that motorcycle grip, okay? Now, here's what I want to do, Micah. I'm gonna body lock takedown on you, and I want you to do the trap and roll UPA escape. This is one we use a lot of times when somebody's punching us. It's a variation of the UPA that we taught last week, and there's lots of ways to do that mount escape. And when you get through the colored belts and you've been trained a couple years, you're like, oh, well, it's all the same technique, but these little differences on, oh, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're this big, they're, you know, whatever, okay? So the one we showed you last class is like the all people version, right? Well, that's the one we want everybody to know. This is also one of the beginner ones, okay? So I'm gonna do a front body lock takedown. We'll do this way. I have the double under body lock. I suck his weight in, I start walking forward, but I make a mistake and I do this, okay? Now, oh, good job. When he raises his hips, shoulder walk just a little bit. Now I'm over those hips, keep them up. Bring your feet close to your butt, right? Now, start shoulder walking some more and wrap my arm. Oh, yes, see, he's connected. Keep the hips up, right? Move your head off to the side and UPA. Good. Nice, go back down. Safety training tip. Scoot this way a little bit. Okay, he did a real good job on connecting to that arm because his hips were up, and when he did that, I was like, oh, I'm carrying part of his weight. So I wanted to lean down instead of push up. It really anchors the other hand to the mat in a big way, okay? So hips up, good. Shoulder walking, start wrapping that arm. Okay, here's the safety training tip. You can't leave your hand on the mat right here. If I do that when he rolls, I need to grab his shoulder, okay? Additionally, there's another safety training tip on this escape. Me as a partner, I need to grab the shoulder sometimes in instances so I don't get wrist locked or really fold your wrist over backwards, okay? Also, tucking and rolling. I never knew anybody personally that hurt their collarbone on this technique. But I know, like, friends of mine is like, hey, I do know people that have hurt their collarbone. So think about almost like we did at the beginning with the forward roll, a tuck and roll, right? So you don't. I have seen someone on a simple reverse butterfly or reverse elevator sweep. Sometimes you hear people call it the hook sweep, but their shoulder just hit funny and they had a hurt collarbone for a few weeks. So 2 safety tips on the UPA escape. We'll bring those up a lot when we teach students, so just keep that in the back of your mind. Good job on the sequences. Good class number 2. We'll see y'all later.